Hey there, my name's Eddie Mello, and welcome to Car Habit Garage. Want to give you just a quick few minutes of my driving first impressions of my LS M3, and I went to go see my car in Bay City, Michigan at Classic Daily, where Jake is working on it. Hey there, we're here at Classic Daily looking at the new LS3 M3 with Jake and Tim, who's behind the camera. Say hi, Tim.
Hi, Tim.
And wanted to talk about all the things. It's getting close to being done, and wanted to just go through Jake and talk about like what he's done to the car. So let's have just a quick gander at it.
So 96 M3 came in with the stock S52, 120,000 miles.
Yep.
Right around there. And then we pulled that out and stuck in a big V8. So let's open the hood. Right.
Sure.
And now 6.2 LS3, so like a 2010 Camaro engine, stock other than, well, it's a V8 in a BMW, so it's the stock engine from a Camaro into the BMW. To make it fit, because the goal is California CARB legal. It has stock exhaust manifolds, catalytic converters on both sides. It has a CARB legal air intake from jammer, and to fit that we had to lower the radiator 2 inches. So if you can see these brackets, which will be powder coated when the car is done, they locate the top of the radiator, which is now 2 inches lower from stock.
What about those exhaust manifolds in there? Did you have to do anything special for that?
Yep. So on the driver's side, there's a gusset that usually goes from the frame rail to the firewall. That had to come out, and then on the passenger side, we had to notch the actual body, the frame rail. We notched it and then boxed it open for the manifolds. And then on the driver's side, the steering shaft would have went directly through the manifold, so we added a third joint and locator, so it pulls it over towards the outside of the car, along with moving the steering column about an inch this way to again get around the steering, the header. And you drove it. You think the steering feels?
Actually, I couldn't. I felt exactly normal.
Yeah.
Just like it did on the old e36. So
yeah,
cool. Great job on there. I know that you had to do some. I know the lights are the European. These are depots, but they're ZKW, so it's glass headlights. I know you had to do some rewiring for the fog lamps just to kind of put everything back.
Taken out.
You'll see there's some really bespoke stuff here. You had to create some a mechanism or a brace here for the ECU from the GM motor, from the Chevy motor. And as you can see, we have a brand new windshield wiper washer fluid box, but they no longer make the brake reservoir fluid, so we're going to have to figure out if we can do anything there. But so far, it looks fantastic. I mean, Jake installed, we got brand new hood insulation and new hood shocks. You did the custom wiring harness?
Yep. Well, it's really a stock harness because again, California legal, we have to keep all the sensors. So it's a stock. It's from a 2014 Camaro, and then I had to cut and integrate into a fuse box, which is still kind of just hanging out there, but it'll be living back there. Fuel pump control module is in that same spot. Fuel tank pressure sensor is in the back. The fuel EVAP tank is in the trunk. So it's really pretty much an untouched harness, other than integrated into the BMW, to the E36, where it plugs into the connectors there.
It's interesting. Yeah. So the other thing is you had to relocate the ABS pump.
Yeah. So ABS pump normally lives down in this area, and it would be in the same spot where the steering wants to be and the manifold. So it gets moved forward. New lines made to make a home for that.
Yeah, no, it looks fantastic. I mean, I have to tell you, it looks like it belongs here, guys. I mean, it looks just like it came from the factory that way. Talk to me a little bit more about some of the, I know obviously you built, these were custom motor mounts. Jake actually built them himself.
Yep.
So
So one of the reasons we did that is, again, this is good. It's a car to be driven. It's got air conditioning. It's something that you're going to want to drive. And most of the mounts off the shelf have polyurethane, and I think, makes it a little harsher, a little more vibrating. So this is sitting on stock e36 rubber with custom arms, which also are needed to clear the steering shaft and header, these manifolds, because again, it's all has to be there for the California emissions. And it makes it smoother.
Yeah, definitely. When it drove, it felt fantastic. One of the other things I wanted to mention was the when you were doing the when you were looking at the mounts, and the engine's actually sitting as far back as it possibly can be. Is that right?
Yep. So yeah, we want to push it back as far as we could, mostly again for this airbox, because that has to be CARB legal. So we had to get one that would fit. So we pushed it as far back as possible. So being unsure of what off-the-shelf mounts and how those are going to fit, and then again working around the manifolds and everything else that has to be there. So
since I was building this for myself, I am the person who wants to drive this. I asked Jake also for noise, vibration, and harshness, MVH, to take out any of the polyurethane that was put on before. This car actually had been raced prior to this and had a lot of good aftermarket parts, but they also made it much more harsher drive. We still are retaining the TC Klein coilovers. It's a good setup. But other than that, this car's going to look and drive kind of stock, except it's going to have a V8 and a lot more power.
Yeah.
Anything else we should talk about? How about like some of the rust things that you had to fix on this car? There was not much rust on this. It was a California car, but it did have some rust on it.
Yep, some little spots. So up in that corner of the windshield. And the windshield as a whole, this was the loudest driving for an air noise car I've ever been. It's like you're in a wind tunnel. And someone at one time put a windshield in it, and I think what happened is it was probably down about a quarter inch, and then the glue thing down here was atrocious. So we pulled the windshield out more, so we smashed it out with our feet and arms and whatever we could do to get it out without throwing glass over ourselves. And a little bit of rust repair up there, the tin did. So cut that out, reshaped it, and then the car then went out. There was that rust, I think. And then right by the accelerator pedal on the floor, there was a little bit of rust, and then on the back panel, right below the license plate above the bumper, there was a little tiny little spot. Then we sent the car off for paint, and we ended up. The plan was just to paint a couple of spots, and then it turned into the whole car got a respray, just so everything would match and be happy.
So everything works on it. The rear spoiler, the sunroof. So it'll be like a real car. A real car. It is a real car. But it's going to have some of the modern conveniences, and once we have those installed, we'll take a video and show you. Really wanted to just cover kind of the engine, some of the things that had to be done that were bespoke to this car. Anything we missed, Jake?
That's pretty good. I mean, the interior is starting to you can kind of see the line here of yellow on the steering wheel. And there's some other little nice touches of accent yellow in the interior. Modernize it a little bit, but still keeping that vintage feel.
Yeah, that's awesome. It looks great. Well, that's awesome. Good job.
I can't say how much fun it was to actually see and talk to the guys working on the car and drive it. So let's just tell you a little bit about the first impressions, right? So get in the car, it looks fantastic. The interior still needs to be completed. The seats are going to be recovered, and there's a whole. I'll show a whole completed video, but the interior still needs to be finished. But the first thing is you put that key in there, you turn it on, and it's an entirely different car. That V8 comes to life. The LS3, it turns right on, cranks really quick, and the first thing you notice is that it's quiet. There's no mistaking that this is a V8. But it's not that loud. And on idle, it's not that loud. But while I was driving it, oh my goodness, man, you can hear tons of intake noise and good exhaust noise. And the exhaust is still kind of an experiment here because we had to keep everything for California smog controls. And we actually kept the original OEM BMW E36 M3 muffler. So you definitely can hear it when you get on it. It's a total beast. Talk about fun drive. Breaking the wheels loose in first and second gear. There is no traction control in this. It does have ABS brakes, etc. But the things I noticed probably when I first got in it is the clutch is super light, almost too light, and the drive-by-wire throttle pedal that comes with the GM kit with the whole crate engine, the LS3 and the T56 Super Magnum, was probably mounted a little too far forward, so I had this weird oscillating. So the clutch would go down really light, and the throttle super responsive, but it was up so close that you would put your foot into it a lot and actually be going a little bit, having higher RPMs than I wanted to be. So Jake's gonna fix that out, and then and the brakes were a little bit. The car had no problem stopping, but they were different. In fact, I would say the whole experience was much different than when I first sent the car back to Jake in February of earlier 2021. So with that being said, I just wanted to kind of let you know it was really awesome getting to meet Jake and Tim and the whole crew there. And this video right now is just him kind of walking through in front of the car with me and talking about all the bespoke things that had to be done, from custom motor mounts to, just doing the wiring harness, figuring all that out, changing out all of the, it had racing polyurethane bushings. And so those were all kind of changed back out to OEM rubber. I really want to avoid NVH. And so anyway, I hope you guys enjoy this video. Thanks so much for watching. This has been a truly awesome experience, going out and seeing the car and getting to drive it. And all I could say is it's a beast.